And so once Libra season moves on, Scorpio comes in with a bang every time. I don't care what anyone says. Between the months of mid-October to mid-November, when you reflect on your life, I don't care what you say, there's something that you went through. There's something big. Oh, hello. What it do, what it is, what it do. Welcome back. If you're back, I appreciate you. My name is Davielle. I have some fun things to talk about today because it's actually something that I'm really passionate about. And if I'm not talking about it to myself or writing notes about it, I'm talking to my sister about it, I'm updating her on basically all things astrology. And I love astrology. I think it's so important. But the difference with me is I'm intuitive. Very, very, very intuitive with astrology. So not every little placement I'm like, oh my God, about, but there's some cool shit that you can really understand when it comes to astrology, when it comes to your birth chart, all that. So I'm really into a lot of that. So I was like, yo, instead of just like keeping this to myself or my sister, let me record this for y'all because this is stuff that I naturally do to understand astrology and to just kind of flow with the days and the months and the weeks and all that. Because astrology really tells a story and it's fucking cool. Like, yo, it's so cool. And so I know there's a lot of like talk about astrology online and people really do it their way, to be honest. And I love that for them. And I also love how I do it. I think it's just as a matter of fact. So if you're going here for facts and like, this is how it's supposed to be, I'm not like that. I actually want you to do you, to be honest. But as I do me, I'm like, let me share with y'all how I do me when it comes to astrology. You get it? So one thing I realized is I don't look at the zodiac signs as this like, oh, Taurus and Gemini, they're so annoying and they're so this and they're so that. We have all 12 zodiac signs within us, first of all. So I already be looking at us like, well, if you don't like that sign or that person that's that sign, then you don't like that part about you. You don't like that part within you because we have all 12 signs within us. I'm forever preaching that because it's the truth. In our fucking, birth chart, that is what you see, all 12 signs. We're made up of every single one. They're basically different areas, categories in our lives that we show up as, but our sun sign will tell us one thing, but we think we run with that forever, blah, blah, blah. So I can go on for days, truly. However, today I'm talking about each zodiac sign within the seasons. Okay. So long story short, as you know, when someone's birthday comes around, we're like, oh, you're Leo, you're Aquarius, you're this, you're that. Because that time frame from like March to April, we know that's Aries, which by the way, I have my signs written here and all the months and stuff because, you know, when you're recording something, you're like, what's that month again? What's that sign again? I'm not in the business of doing that right now. So I was like, let me get my cute little notebook out and show y'all, but yeah, all 12 signs. So that portion, so those few weeks means that sign and that energy is very important to keep in mind. And a lot of times we think like, oh, it's Aries season, I'm not tuning in because I'm not an Aries, my sun sign is a Scorpio. You're doing yourself a disservice because it's actually helpful for you too. And that's what I've learned. And so I'm like, let me tell y'all what I've learned and how I utilize it. And because I'm intuitive, that is what helps me the most. I'm like, yo, I'm not into extra shit. Just give me the nitty gritty. I'm a very matter of fact type of person. So what I thought of was the whole, when the zodiac sign, when the astrological new year happens, that's Aries season. So basically Aries season starts off the 12 signs. So it's Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, and you keep going, Leo, all that. It starts us off. And so what's fucking cool, right? Because I was like, okay, why does Aries have to start it? You know, like, why can't any other sign start it? Because I'm that type of girl. Like, you're not going to just tell me something. I'm like, ooh, okay. Like, I will question some biatch. So I'm like, hold up. Why? Right? And so I have the answer. It's my answer, my intuitive answer, right? And it's what people know astrology to be. So Aries, that's about you, your internals, right? So I'm like, okay. How do you feel? How confident are you? Aries are known to be chatty, talkative, all that. They're passionate about what they have to say. They want to express themselves very authentically, excitingly. So when mid-March and mid-April come around every single year, what Aries is just asking all of us, every single one, yes, you, yes, I'm talking to you, okay? It's asking us to just tap in and be like, who are you? Who do you declare yourself to be? Mid-March to mid-April, that's what your homework is. Who are you? And a lot of you means everything. Your visual appearance, your body. What do you think about your body? Are you doing what you need to do to take care of your body? Check in with everything that has to do with the core of you, right? So your mental, all of that. It's just like your confidence comes from this really fiery sign. Aries is like a roar. And so who are you? That's what you keep in mind. Next is Taurus. So Taurus is April to May, right? Mid-April to mid-May, your next assignment is, well, what do you want, right? Because if you know who you are, you can then go into what you want, right? It's a beautiful story. What do you want out of this lifetime? What do you want when it comes to physical things, right? What makes you happy? What brings you a level of comfort? And it's healthy comfort, right? And there's, the little toxic comfort. You can check yourself when it comes to that. Even with Aries, when it comes to yourself, what are some of your toxic habits? You're going to call yourself out. You're going to be able to see those types of energies within you. And it's kind of helpful, I'm not gonna lie. So Taurus is like, what do you want in this lifetime? Why is it so important to know what you want? Oh, I don't know what I want. Okay, well, what's next for you and within the year? It's gonna be a little difficult because you don't know what the fuck you want. So Taurus is like, look, I'm giving you opportunity. Mid-April to mid-May. What's up? Tap in. Do you want the shopping spree that you continuously do, but yet don't use any of the shit that you're buying, right? Do you want the career that you claim you're in love with or you think you have to be in because of the money? What do you want? You know what I mean? Do you actually want as much money as you think you do? Check in. That's what that's about, because you now know who you are. Now you need to figure out what you want. Once you know what you want, that's when Gemini season from May to June, mid-May to mid-June, is like, okay, now that you know who you are, you know what you want. Next step is to communicate with people that align with you and what you want. Yeah, like, you getting there, you getting me, right? How fucking cool. It's a story. Gemini's like, okay, now I want you to go out there and I want you to continue to meet people and connect with people that align with you. Granted, it doesn't mean that throughout the year you're not connecting with people, you're not aligning with people. It's just the opportunity. For example, when it's apple season, it doesn't mean you're never gonna have a fucking apple throughout the year, right? But there's a season that apples really reach their peak. And so take advantage. That's all it is. I'm not saying don't ever do it ever again. And if that's how you think, then I don't know what to tell you, right? That's not at all what I'm saying. But it's like, this is peak season to connect, peak season to see what kind of people are you attracting into your life. Now that you've gone through Aries, Taurus, Gemini is like, okay, get out there. Come on. This is a time to socialize. It's a time to really see who you gravitate towards and do they align with you. Also, what you like to talk about. Gemini wants you to see, okay, now that you know what you want, well, what do you like to connect about? And what do you like to learn? Do you like to learn things still? Are you still interested in learning? If not, you got to check yourself, right? Because it's still early in the year. Get that learning going. Get that vibe going. There's a lot of communication. There's a lot of going outside of yourself in Gemini season. It's kind of opening that shit up for you, basically. It's just like, okay, go outside of yourself. And that it's not in a bad way. It's just like you're around people. You socialize them. Your social battery. Check in, right? But that comes after. But first of all, you're social. So a lot is going on. Then Cancer season. So now we know who we are. We know what we want. We know how to communicate and to connect with people that we enjoy communicating with and communicating with ourselves too. Because Gemini is also like check-in. That's why people say Gemini are two-faced, because they're chatty with other people, but then there's other things going on in their mind and there's so much happening and they want to learn and they want this, but they're also a little introverted and like certain things. Like there's a lot going on and that's okay, right? But Gemini season is just here to get your mind going. A lot of mind work happens there then, right? So now that there's so much of that happening, who are you? what you want, and how do you communicate the best, right? Now, Cancer season is very important. That's June to July, okay? Cancer season is like, all right, we just spent a couple months tapping into energies, talking to people, doing all this stuff. What are your emotional needs? How are you tending to your emotions? How are you tending to the things that bring you true nurturing, true fulfillment? Cancer wants to answer the fulfillment question. Because yeah, you have all these people. Yeah, you now know what you want, so you're attracting what you want, right? And now you know who you are, and you feel a level of like routine maybe coming, who knows, right? You've already done that. Cancer's like, check in with your emotions for me. Get vulnerable for me. What are your vulnerable truths about what you've been going through, right? This is setting you up for the next few seasons of the freaking year, right? Check in with those emotions for me, please. So yeah, that's why they say Cancers are emotional, because they're in tune, right? Cancer is connected to the moon, all that. Get deep for me, please. Very fucking important, right? Because you need to have balance in your life. You need to understand how that. The vulnerability matters, because that's when you're going to be honest about the company you keep, about how are you doing with these areas of your life, right? And so next, from July to August, comes Leo. Leo is fun. So now that you've gotten emotional, now that you've really been honest and vulnerable with yourself, and you know what your emotional needs are, Leo's like, okay, what do you enjoy? How do you have fun, right? Even at mid-July to mid-August, that's peak times where in the United States and stuff, people travel a lot. People are on vacation. It's summertime. I mean, since Cancer season, honestly, that's why Cancer season, you're socializing even in the summertime, but it's still important to know what you need. That's why people want to travel, feel a level of like nurturing. So they want to be in the sun. They want to go out and see what's out there. There's a level of curiosity because people are like, I need this warm hug, some type of a warm hug. It's been a busy time. Focus on me, focus on what I want, focus on people and all that. Now I want to figure out what do I need to nurture myself. When you do that, because you've recharged your batteries, Cancer's like, oh, okay, you know your emotional needs. All right, tap into Leo for me from July to August, because now you get to understand, what do you enjoy? What's fun to you? And Leo's also going to check you and be like, what's fun to you from your ego's perspective? And then what's fun to you from your soul's perspective? So you're going to see what you gravitate towards. So towards the end of the summer, you're rushing to have some fun. What are you doing? Right? And so I'm not judging anyone that does any of it, but are you drinking a lot? Or are you exercising a lot? Are you this? What are your things? Right? And drinking could be great for you because you know how to handle it. It's great. And this and the third, but then the workout may not be the best because you actually don't love to work out. Whatever the case may be. Leo's like, have fun, but it's trying to show you the type of fucking fun. Like, does this align with you or not? But truly, Leo season is about enjoyment, is about understanding from an egotistical standpoint, like, all right, I'm doing a lot of this and I shouldn't be. I'm socializing with these people I really shouldn't be. And then there's the like soul fun connection, the beach, when you go to the beach and you're playing volleyball, you're playing these random games, you're this, you're that. Leo wants you to enjoy yourself, also wants you to tap into your creativity, have some fun. Leo shine. There's this shining light that you can really take advantage of that's already within you, because like I said, we have all 12 zodiac signs. It wants you to bring that side of you out. Okay, so now that you know how to have fun, because you already know how to nurture your emotions, you also know now how to enjoy yourself. Now comes August to September, Virgo season. Virgo's like, okay, now that you have all that going on, how do you find purpose in this lifetime? How do you actually feel purposeful in your day-to-day life, in your daily routine? Can you get back to that routine for me, please? You just had a lot of fun, okay. But how can you reset? August into September, what are a lot of people within the States, like I said, I don't know what other countries do, but August into September, people are transitioning back to school, back to work. I'm telling you, you think that the government, all these people come up with all these things that people do and it's just random? No, they know this stuff too. They know that this is the best time to harness these types of energies. Everything's so intentional, so fucking cool. That's why I love this stuff. Oh, it's so cool. Now, Virgo's like, get a little sharp for me, please. Now all of a sudden you want a little more purpose. You want to feel a little more fulfilled. Like, yeah, the fun is good and all, but you also want a little more structure. So now you want to get back to the swing of things. You want things to start moving a little more. but smoother, because now you're reflecting. Okay, you know who you are. You know, Aries, you know who you are. Taurus, you know what you want. Gemini, you know how to communicate, who to connect with, stuff like that. Cancer, you know what emotionally fulfills you. Now, Leo, you know what enjoyment you really prefer and what enjoyment you should stay away from and all of that, right? Now Virgo's like, okay, let me tap in and see, how do you stay on point? How do you keep structure going on in your life? How do you start to develop routines that really set you up for this next half of the year? Because the next half of the year is no joke. I'm not gonna lie. It's no joke, because now Libra season says, while you have the structure going mid-September to mid-October, also revise and look over old contracts, old partnerships, old things, even current contracts. I'm saying old, I don't know why, but maybe old. And new contracts, new things that you're stepping into. September to October, it's very much like Libra wants you to reflect. So that is a period for you to kind of do similarly what you were doing in Aries season, which is who am I? Now Libra, it's like, who am I in these partnerships, right? It's now seeing it from a perspective of, I've met a lot of people, I've had a lot of fun, I've done all this stuff, I've nurtured myself, I've all this, but hold up. Now I have all these new energies, all these new contracts, and I've really stepped up this year, whatever you want to call it, right? Everyone's year is different. That's why I'm keeping it very vague. But what are the contracts that I'm in? How am I showing up as a leader within those contracts? How am I showing up as the boss that I am, okay, within those contracts? Or how can I improve and actually show up more, right? There's a level of the company that you keep. Does it align with you or not? Libra is very particular about that. That's why people claim that Libra energy is very indecisive. It's just they have a lot of decisions to make, because contracts and leadership is very important. A leader, they have to manage a bunch of stuff typically, right? And so where are you at? Get organized for me, because Virgo season already showed you how important organization is, practicality, routine. So now Libra's like, okay, let me see what you did with that energy. Now I'm going to test you and see, what do you think of the relationships that you have? So you're going to go through maybe a little something with people. People may start to show you who they are a little bit, because it was all fun and games in the summertime, right? From Gemini to Leo season, there's a lot of fun and games, even Virgo, because now your routine, are you prioritizing certain people within your routines? Because that's when you're going to really know, how do you feel? So now Libra's like, all right, where we at? And so once Libra season moves on, Scorpio comes in with a bang every time. I don't care what anyone says. Between the months of mid-October to mid-November, when you reflect on your life, I don't care what you say, there's something that you went through. There's something big. Because guess what? Scorpio's like, okay, you just went through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra season. All them seasons. So now let's talk about it. Where are you lying to yourself? Where are you hiding? What parts of yourself are you still hiding? What parts of yourself are you still lying? Where are you tolerating things that you shouldn't be? What endings need to happen that you claimed in Libra season? Oh, this partnership, this contract's cool. I'm going to keep it cool. It's fine. It's good. Where are you lying to yourself? Scorpio comes with a fucking vengeance. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. And you may be in denial if you don't see that shit come up. But I promise you, I've had some shit come up and I'm like, oh my God. Scorpio doesn't play. Scorpio wants all of the hidden shit. It's like, get all this fucking shit out of the way. I want you to see yourself. You don't see yourself. You don't go through some things to see yourself. It's not scary. It's important. It can feel challenging sometimes, and it can feel empowering too. There's an empowerment, because Scorpio season also wants you to use your intuition. It wants to dive into the parts of us that we don't care to talk about, don't care to look at. Or it's like, why do I have to talk about that thing? It happened 20 years ago. Because it's necessary, because Scorpio said so. Because the season's calling for it, because no more hiding, because no more secrets, right? And so if you want to embrace that, cool. If you don't, you're going to learn the hard way as time goes on. And also, Scorpio season's also trying to prepare you. It's like, okay, the year's coming to an end. It's close to an end, right? Where are you at? Because I don't want anything to hold you back. If you have secrets, if you have hidden things that hold you back from this next chapter, that's a problem. And I say that because now we're mid-November to December, which is Sagittarius. Sagittarius, it's leaps of faith out the ass. It's giving, my faith so solid, I'm so good with my subconscious mind because, like I said, Scorpio is all about the hidden. Hidden is all like deep down within that subconscious mind, within that like area of your mind that you don't even know existed. That little jealousy, that little, aggravation of someone in your life. I mean, there's stuff that will poke at you because Sagittarius season is like, okay, whether you're ready or not, you're taking a leap. I don't give a fuck what you say. You're taking a leap. It's time to leap. It's time to jump. It's time to move. It's time to explore. It's time to see things from a different perspective, which is interestingly enough. Oh, by the way, Scorpio season, of course, mid-October to mid-November. You don't think there's a reason why America celebrates Halloween around that time? Because they understand the more you get scared, the more you stay in that little bubble. The more you stay in that energy of like, I don't want to face what I need to face. So now they're going to make you face it. And now your fear is going to cause you to be like, see, this is why I didn't want to face it. When in reality, that fear is telling you something. That fear is communicating with you, right? I love when I feel a little fear because I'm like, oh, there's some shit. Oh, let's go. And I have a video. If you go to the back, to the back, how I face my fears dead on, because your fears is like, I'm here to help you. But if you don't want help, fine, but you're still going to keep getting triggered. You're still going to feel this fear anyway. So what the fuck are we, what? It's a waste if you act like it's not there. You get what I'm saying? You get what the fuck I'm saying. So yeah, Scorpio season, that's why they feel Halloween. They know what they're doing. It's a good time to elevate that. So now Sagittarius season, so November into December, into mid-December, that's holiday. That's like a lot of fun, enjoyment, all that, because in a time where you're actually supposed to explore and do whatever you want, America's like, anyway, get closer with your family, please. Get closer with people, please, because I mean, I have my theories. Maybe I'll record videos about this, but like, there's a system that we're all under, you know what I mean? So they amplify on these energies. It's like, all right, they're supposed to take leaps of faith and they're supposed to enjoy and have fun. And like Sagittarius, it's fun, but it's just explorative. It's very much like going outside of your comfort zone. So what do? They shower you from mid-November to mid-December with comforting things. So in the time you're supposed to explore and expand, they're like, get comfortable for me, please. Do this thing every year where you bring a tree out. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, this doesn't apply to you. But just an example, I don't actually really celebrate Christmas. I don't care if people do it, you know what I mean? But I just don't celebrate it. It doesn't matter to me anymore. But I once celebrated it. But yeah, it's like, get more comfortable for me, please. That's telling, right? There's a reason why they do certain things. Thanksgiving, it's like really homey and all that. When in reality, Scorpio season is like, I want to try new meals. I wanted this, I wanted that. And so a lot of people will start to see, maybe as time moves on, they're going to switch up their traditions. But either way, Sagittarius season is all about learning new things, about exploring, about just diving into new stuff, about taking chances, taking risks that you don't know what will happen in the end. You're actually not supposed to know. Sagittarius is like, I learned all that I need to learn. Now let's dive in. And you've been learning throughout the year, right? Sagittarius like to soak up knowledge. So now to really understand if you've learned something, what do you have to do? Be thrown into it, right? So Sagittarius like, yo, bring it, let's go. That's the energy you're supposed to embrace around that time period. And everything I talk about, this goes for all areas of your life, right? You apply it how you want. I don't give a fuck what you do, to be honest. But it's just how I do it. It's looking at Sagittarius like, oh, being asked to step outside of my comfort zone, being asked to take a leap of faith. Okay, and why are you doing that? Well, between December to January is Capricorn season. Capricorn's like, okay. Oh, Capricorn. I love you, Capricorn. Capricorn's a tricky motherfucker. Capricorn's like, okay, how can I get the public recognition that I so deeply desire? And so you're basically looking for a level of structure, a level of tradition. And the reason why Sagittarius, in my very intuitive and humble opinion, comes before Capricorn is because we're meant to explore, and then from the exploring, understand, oh, here are my new traditions, right? Here are the new things that I want to implement. Here's how I want to dive into life a little differently. But you know what America does, like I said, another example is from December to January, you're preparing to go back to work. You're preparing to go back to the norm, go back to life and getting really structured and get back into working out and all this and like new year, because that's like the specific new year, January 1st and stuff. I get it. But then there's astrology, astrological new year, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of explaining. But yeah, Capricorn season is like, oh, okay, Are you good with you? And if not, it's going to show. Because after you took that leap of faith, are you now looking for people to recognize who you are? Or do you see you as who you are? Right? And so Capricorn is asking you, what do you want? But it's in a different way. What do you want is more so from a place of people and outsiders. How do you want people to view you? How do you want people to see you? Because now that you've explored yourself, Capricorn's like, okay, put it into realistic terms for me, please. That's where Capricorn season people may want to look into businesses that they really want to dive into or invest in or whatever the case may be. It's very much understanding how you connect to the public in general. It could be anyone in a store, anyone in this. Where's your mind at? Because you can get caught up in the regular, what people want from you. And in reality, you're meant to come up with your own traditions. What are your traditions? That's what I would say. Not what you want for this one. It's because we already know what you want as Taurus. What are your traditions? What are your values? What do you actually align with? So even when you get that long break and then you go back to work in January, for those that do get a break, I'm just giving you an example of like typical American way. That's how I used to. Now I'm not even in corporate America, but I'm just giving an example. So when you go back to work in January or whatever, it's just like, okay, do I still like this management situation? Do I still like what I'm doing? Like, for example, for me, I ended up quitting my job at Harvard University in January. I was just like, oh, nah, I'm good. And I was like, and I have a video about that, why I quit corporate America. But that was something I was just like, yeah, no. And I got to reflect. I got to take a moment and be like, and I had a lot of weeks off. They were really generous about the time off. So that's something to keep in mind for Capricorn season. Now that you've done that, because your traditions are important, because now Aquarius season, Aquarius is January to February, mid-January to mid-February, is asking you, okay, you've gone through a whole lot. You've dove into new beginnings, all that stuff. Now you're understanding what I've learned from these new beginnings equal, here's my new traditions. Here's what I believe in. Here's how I want to be viewed and seen from now on. Because Aquarius season is asking you, okay, how can you show up differently? How can you think outside the box? How can you innovate in this world, on this planet in general? How do you do things that stand out? They do things that actually just showcase a different vibe within you. Aquarius is so up to interpretation because it's really what you align with. And Aquarius is also very much intuitive. Now that you've gone through all basically 10 zodiac signs, it's now saying, what do you believe in? What do you actually know about you now? And how are you going to incorporate it into society? Aquarius also very important to them is society, is networking and understanding people and how to even help people, but from an innovative place. So for example, if you are someone that, okay, I'll give you a simple example. It's, I traveled to this place, I did this thing, and I understand my fashion now. So from now on, I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to do things differently. Instead of wearing X, Y, and Z to my job, I'm going to start wearing more tribal outfits and I'm going to own it. In times where they're in suits and they're this and they're that, I'm gonna have a tribal suit and it's gonna be colorful. Do you know what I mean? It's just something very different that makes you stand out, not because you need the recognition, but because it's just unique to you and what you believe in. It doesn't have to be this big grand thing. You're just gonna find yourself wanting to like think outside the box a little more in Aquarius, because that's what it's asking of you. Okay, it's asking you to just shake things up for me a little bit, do things a little differently, make it outside of your comfort zone, but that's good. It's usually a choice. Okay, it's your choice to dive in. And then lastly is Pisces. Pisces is like, okay, girl, boy, we had a long year. Take a moment to reflect for me. Take a moment to imagine. Take a moment to think and dream big. It's a time to really sit with yourself and say, okay, am I honest about my dreams? Am I honest about even this innovativeness, this Aquarius energy, the things that I want to dive into and take a chance on? Does that align with me? Does it actually align? Do I align with this dream, or do I want to continue to stay in my little bubble and not take the leap? Pisces season is like, oh, you're finally coming up with your own traditions. You've taken the leap, but since such, no, let's do it all. Fuck it. You know who you are. You know what it is that you align with. You know what you want, Taurus, right? So Aries, sorry. You know who you are. Taurus, you know what you want. Gemini, you know who you want to communicate with, what you want to learn, all of that. Cancer, you know what emotional fulfillment matters to you. Leo, you know what's fun and creative, the things that really align with you that actually bring you some joy. Then Virgo, you know what practically makes sense for you and how your routines should look like, right? Libra, you understand the contracts that align with you and what do not. Scorpio, you understand where you're lying to yourself. You understand where you're hiding still, where you're having a challenging time really diving into deep shit. And Sagittarius, I'm like chilling. Look, Sagittarius, you understand, okay, this is where I need to take a leap of faith and just do something different. And Capricorn, you understand your new traditions now that you done took some leaps and understood all of that, right? What are your traditions? Who are you? Now, what do you believe in? Aquarius, how are you going to basically apply everything to the world, to the community, the company that you keep? How are you going to show up differently? How are you going to think outside the box? And then Pisces season is, are you allowing yourself to dream big or not? Are you putting yourself back in a box, or are you going to blast off? And when everything resets, Aries season is going to check in with you again. Now that you understand, for example, now that you understand what you're innovating, what you're believing in, now it's like, okay, do you give yourself permission to dream big, or do you substitute, or do you mute your mind and act like, oh, that's not important to me anymore? Those answers will help you understand how you start the new year again. So Aries season is going to ask you, so who are you again? Remind me. And so it doesn't mean that you have to restart everything per se, even though everyone restarts. It's just like the seasons. No matter how many freaking leaves grow on that tree, it's still going to fall off in certain countries, right? It's going to fall off and regrow again. It doesn't mean that it's a waste what happened before. It just, everything has meaning. And so these seasons in our lives are meant to give us an opportunity to focus on these areas, to focus on that shit. Because I can't tell you how many times I've aligned what's going on in my life and look at the season and be like, of course it's this season. Of course it is. Like literally yesterday, I did this thing where I'm like, what do I want out of life? So right now, what's today's date? I think it's the 16th, April 16th. And so literally in a few days, it's going to be Taurus season. Taurus is, what do you want? Right? And I wrote out all the things that I want in this lifetime randomly. I was just like, me and my sister, actually, we planned it. Sorry, not randomly. Me and my sister planned it. And our divine team basically guided us to do that. And we're just like, okay, cool. And I realized, oh shoot, Taurus season, let's go. And so when you do that, you're understanding what you want. Now, when you, for example, you're in a store, you know what you align with more. You're not just spending and buying and investing in things that don't matter, investing your energy in things that don't matter, because you know what you want. You know what you're looking for now. Taurus season is very potent for that time. It's like, get clear on what makes sense to you, what matters to you and what doesn't. Do you like a certain type of fit because it makes you feel more confident, or do you like more comfortable but cute fit? What do you want? Very important. And so that's just an example for me. But every single year it resets, and I think it's so fucking helpful. It's like a blueprint. So when you hear people talk about zodiac signs and all that, this is a cool way to think about it, to try to remember it, I guess, or come back to my video if you don't, whatever the fuck you want to do. I don't care, you're grown, I don't give a fuck. But all I know is that's how I do it. That's how I do it, and it's been really great. Now, keep in mind, of course, signs are going to be talked about throughout the year, because now planets go into different signs, and your birth chart also have different houses within the sign. I could get deep. I'm a nerd when it comes to this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to just stay here and keep it this simple, right? Because, you know what I mean? We're not going to get too crazy. But yeah. So they're just cute little ways to remember this shit, because life can be challenging. We go through challenges, and I think sometimes having a little support is helpful. And so even if you don't base your whole life around this, it just doesn't hurt to keep this in mind. It doesn't fucking hurt. Like, oh, the next 4 weeks it's good to focus on my fun because Leo season. Cool. Doesn't mean it's just connected to people and their birthdays. No, it's giving you a blueprint. It's handing you a key. The divine, the God, the universe is like, here, work on this and it'll help you grow. So I started to piece that together, and I was just like, okay. So a lot of times when I'm a little more reflective and introverted, I'm not online as much because I really believe in that. Okay, I don't believe in being a slave on this fucking internet shit. I post what I want. You know what I mean? I do what I want. Anyway, but I understand it more. I'm like, oh, this is the season too. But it's never going to be an excuse. You still do you. Do what the fuck you want. It's just a supportive guide. That's how I look at it. Oh, this video was a little long. I didn't see it coming. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't see it coming. But I thought it was cool to just share this. Wow. Okay. But yeah, I just thought it was cool to just share this perspective. I think a lot of things I'm gonna share with y'all because I feel like I don't know. It's just cool. This is cool. You can't tell me this isn't cool. But if you're interested in other type of shit, because like I said, I think about this stuff all the time, let me know. Comment if you want. You know what I mean? Talk to me. But that's all I have for you. I'm all smiling, all proud. It's like, yes, this is good. This is awesome. So that's all for today. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. You know what to do. If you support your girl, support your girl. If not, that's okay too. All right. But until I see you again. Bye.